Yes.
I'm trying to make sure that the viewers can fully understand. Let, let's break down the power in owning real estate, because I think
Okay.
a lot of people think in terms of the flip.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
you got a property for 50 and you sold it for 100.
Correct.
Or you're renting 5 properties for $1,000, so that's $5,000 a month.
Correct.
But let's talk about the leverage.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And being able to get money from banks just because you own this property.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because for me, that's why real estate appealed to me. I don't really care to be a big real estate mogul.
Okay.
I just want to be able to go to a bank anytime I need.
Leverage that asset.
If I need $500,000, I want to be able to walk in there and not have to sweat. Like, no, you know that I'm worth this
And be able to
because
get
of
that.
these properties.
Yeah, no, and to that point, you know, a lot of people, you know, that's, I mean, even in these times we're in now, with the interest rates being where they are, you know, you're seeing a lot more people who do have real estate own or do own some sort of real estate. If they have some sort of loan or on the property or some sort of debt on the property, going in and refinancing, getting lower interest rates, pulling that cash out, and hopefully, you know, just to add to your point of what you were saying, yeah, you want to have access to that money, and it sounds good, but for me, and I'm sure for your listeners, we want them to put that money into making more money.
Oh yeah, big time.
You wanna
And I don't
reinvest
even want to
that.
leave that out,
Yeah.
because most people. And let's first break down what equity is. Equity is basically how much the property is worth, right?
Yeah. After the cost of it, the value of the property at market versus what you paid for it.
So if this property is worth 100,000 and you owe 50,000 in a mortgage,
Yeah,
the
50,000.
equity is that 50 that's left over.
That's correct.
And a bank will give you what, 80, a loan up to 80% of that, right?
Typically around we'll say 80%.
Okay.
We'll say somewhere around there. And it depends on, you know, what banks you're dealing with. You may be able to get more. What your credit score looks like, what your relationship is with that bank.
But
yeah, 80%.
essentially, because you own that property, you can get somewhere around that 50K. And my thing is, when I see most people, they'll take out equity in order to fix the property.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, I want to use the equity to make more money. That's my whole thing with real estate.
Correct. Yeah, if you're gonna, and that's kind of where I'm at with it too. I want to use that equity in my real estate. Like eventually, I'm going to want to pull equity out of my real estate and go buy an apartment building,
Right.
Something that's going to cash flow,
Or a business that's dying.
or franchise.
You know what I'm saying? If this company over here, if this radio station is going under, or this person's dying and he wants to sell and he's selling it for 200,000, and my house is worth 300,000, and I bought it at auction years ago,
Yes.
and so I don't got no debt on it.
Yes.
I could go to the bank, get the money,
Correct.
and buy that business.
Buy that business.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's the thing for me. Like that's the power in real estate.
Absolutely.
If you-
and you know, he's not even known for real estate. But for that to show up in that deal, that was one of the things that spoke to me into this book. I'm like, okay, this is all realistic. You know, it's all realistic because I might not be doing it at that level, but it all comes into fruition when at whatever level you're at.
Right.
You buy something for less. You add value to it by doing the repairs or, you know, maybe improvements in the locations, so on and so forth. The value goes up on it. You're able to leverage that value into something that could make you more money or make you help you retain more equity.
Right. So I want everybody to fully understand, when we use the word leverage, we're talking about benefiting from something outside of just
Leverage is debt.
Yeah, just benefiting outside of just the flip.
Yep.
Because we look at the flip all the time. I bought it for this, I sell it for this. But there's some in-between moves that you can make just because you're playing in that game.
Yeah, and you don't always have to sell the asset. So, you know, a lot of times, we flip. We see HGTV, Flip My House, whatever some of these shows are. They don't show you everything that goes into those deals. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, they'll flip those properties. And like you said, you might buy it for 100, and then sell it for 50, how long did you hold that property?
Right.
Because if you held it for a year or less, you're paying short-term capital gains on the property. So that's gonna take your profit down. Right. How many expenses did you have into that property that you bought? Right. There's all those different little things in there, but people, you could actually retain the asset. Like for instance, for Reginald, the company he just sold is renting back from him. So
That's
he's
crazy, man.
He's still getting cash flow. He still has a renter in place. So and he has the ability to leverage those buildings to go do whatever other deals he wants to go do. And even for us, we buy a property, whether we buy it at an auction, whether we buy a private sale off a website, whatever it is, we get it at a certain price and we create that value in it. We don't have to sell it. Right. You can pull the equity out of it, but I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that unless they were going to use it to
make more money. Right.
And I'm not talking about buying a kilo or, you know what I mean? Right, we're talking about, acquiring a business, or we're talking about acquiring more rental properties, or, it might even be a car deal, a car lot. You know what I mean? Something that's going to, generate profit for